Beau, how was Halloween?
Halloween is my favorite holiday, Chris, because you can unabashedly eat handfuls and handfuls of candy and go around to strangers' houses and get free candy and then eat it. Which,
you know what I love? Like, it brings out the fat kid in you, and it brings out the socially anxious person in me, because I love the holiday because you can put a mask on and like go anywhere, you know? Don't have to talk to anybody, that whole thing.
Yeah.
It's a great holiday.
I like it too, because not only can I eat candy, but I can just completely dress up as somebody other than myself and live in a fantasy world where I'm not Beau Allen, and that is a treat. And
now we're getting there.
And that
what
fantasy.
Was the oldest y'all went trick or treating? Was the last year you all went out?
I think like 14.
Seriously.
I think 14's pushing it. If you can get a learner's permit and you can operate a motor vehicle, you shouldn't be standing at my door.
You were also like 6'1" when you were 14. You would have been way too big.
Right. And people are looking at it like, who the fuck is this kid? But like at 15, what would you say? Like 15?
Yeah, I mean, I gotta
15.
think. I think for me, it's probably like when I was 30. If you can go as
30. Ted Lasso without a fake mustache, you're probably pushing it, you know?
Yeah, exactly. Beau, what was your last year?
I'd say like 2022.
Well, that's good. I went last night with my kids. People drive fast, man. You would think everybody knows it's Halloween, but I stare down every fucking car that drives by. You know, like 30 is too fast in a residential area. Last night, man, you know, get it together. I don't know. I don't expect people to be fucking smart about anything anymore. So,
there's definitely a slowdown contract on Halloween. Like 10-20% less.
Yeah, you should. Yeah, you should be crawling. I'm in a bad mood today, guys. Okay, I always am on Tuesdays. So we're doing this pod early in the morning. You're gonna get this midday or something, and we're gonna break down some Monday Night Football. Me and Beau will be doing Tuesday pods from here on out, so they're going to drop immediately so we can get to the Monday Night Football, and then Wednesday you can catch me and Kyle and possibly a special guest or two. We'll see. But this is kind of the groove. We're trying to find our groove in season. We're trying to find the best way to roll out as much content as possible to you, the listenership. So just sometimes I like to let you know what's happening, take you behind the curtain, okay? Same thing with the mood. Just not in a great mood on Tuesdays. So if I seem like an asshole today, it's probably me.
Well, Chris is like, I'm not usually in a good mood on Tuesday morning, so why don't we just roll out a podcast with Beau bright and early?
That's probably when I'm my best, when I'm miserable, you know?
That's the NFL way.
Yeah, exactly. But let's talk about something that's gonna get me all excited. Candy. That's gonna get you excited. Last night. First off, a funny thing about last night when we were on the little production call at halftime, more behind the curtains for the people listening, like we pop on a Zoom call at halftime. Thanks for bearing with me last night, guys. I was on about 40 milligrams trying to go through the show. So Beau gets on, and Ralph, shout out to Ralph, our social media dude. Ralph's like, maybe we should tell people what's happening in Vegas on the big Vegas trip coming up in November. Maybe we should let the people in on that. And then this is like obviously a pitch for what we should talk about during the show. And Beau jumps up and he's like, yeah, you know, like I'm bringing a girl. I don't know what's going on. Like, when are the dinner reservations? Like, what are we doing day to day? I think that.
What club are we going to? What should we wear? What's going on?
I'm like, Beau, we're talking about the audience, man.
No, man.
Beau needs a whole itinerary for Vegas.
I'm excited for Vegas, Chris. I haven't been in a couple of years, man. I got to get my outfits lined up. I'm gonna try to get nice and tight for the pool parties if we go to them. I don't know what's going on. I haven't gotten an itinerary yet. It's kind of, got to work on that one.
Top 5 candy, Beau. Let's go top 5 candy.
Listen, guys, I eat a lot of candy. There's something broken inside of me where I just am basically addicted to sugar like the rest of the country. And I'm not shy about it. So, Chris, you're having a bad Tuesday morning. Why don't you go dig into your kids' candy bowls? I think that might cheer you up a little bit. But I'm not even going to go top 5. I'm going to go top candy. And this is an elite candy that I don't think gets enough love. Maybe not as well known. I don't know if it's been around for as long, but I've sampled thousands of candies. And my favorite candy of right now of 2022 that is a go-to. It's very eatable. It's very dense. You can get it in big packs, so you can really dig away. It's Nerds Rope. Oh fuck,
Nerds Ropes.
Nerds Ropes clusters.
Oh, Nerds
the
Ropes
clusters. If you haven't had it, look it up. So you know what a Nerds Rope is, right?
No. Go ahead. I stopped eating candy recreationally many years ago. Diabetes and things like that.
Well, that's your problem, Chris. It's basically like chopped up little Nerds Ropes, and you can just grab them by the fistful and stuff your face, and it's really, really good candy. I don't know anybody in the
Reed, have you
studio?
had Nerds Rope clusters?
Probably not since I was 10, walking around the pool swinging the rope from my mouth.
I'm talking about the clusters, cowboy.
The clusters.
I don't think those were out when I
have had them, Beau. They're really, really good.
The clusters don't look edible. They look fake. You know,
Chris.
No, but hey, listen, I'm
bringing a big bag to Vegas. We're gonna be in the club eating some Nerds Ropes clusters.
I'll eat Nerds Ropes in the club. Okay,
You got a top candy?
I got top 5, and I got like a couple guys coming off the bench because I thought Beau was going to come.
No, I mean,
put your nuts on the table and actually make.
I don't
list.
even need to research, dude. You don't understand. Like, I'm deep in the candy game. Like, I'm eating like Asian candies. High Chews, elite. Okay,
Asian candies.
Well, dude, I order candy bulk on Amazon. It's sad. I don't know if you understand this.
No,
like,
I understand.
Seriously. Stopped eating candy for
Montana,
6 months. Lost 60 pounds.
When you came to we're relapsing now. When you came to Montana and a bear got in and ate all the kids' snacks, I mean, I had a feeling you like candy too. Okay, so
do you think kids trade candy the next day at school with each other?
If they're smart.
That's how we should identify future general managing talent. Like Howie Roseman,
kind of just
walks away with a
just hang out in the hallway.
Yeah, we used to do that when we get back because my brother has fucked up weird candy taste. He likes Good and Plenty, which is kind of like a mark of a serial killer in my opinion. But I would trade Good and Plenty. Horrible candy, horrible black licorice. If you like black licorice, you're a sociopath. There's no need for that.
I agree there.
But I'm a sour candy guy, so Sour Patch watermelons. I'll eat the occasional, chocolate-based candy, but in my mind, chocolate is not candy. Chocolate's chocolate. Mint is mint. Gum is gum. Candy is gummy, fruity, sour candy.
That's a hot take.
And that's what I'm about, Chris.
Okay, here's my top 5 at 11:35 p.m. Sitting in the office last night. Okay, number 1, this is Halloween. So this applies to almost any day, but I was thinking Halloween. Peanut butter cups, number 1. Okay, chalky, but it's true. Number 2.
Specifics, Reese's or those Justin's?
Oh,
high
Reese's.
scale.
Reese's.
Okay.
Fuck
All
the
right.
Justins. I don't care if I die 3 years sooner.
I just wanted to be sure,
artificial
Mr.
stuff. No.
Liquid Death.
No, if I'm going to eat candy, I'm going all out. But I'm just not going to do it every day. So I'm not going to be fucking around with some, hippie yoga mom peanut butter cups.
Good.
Well, they've got really good peanut butter cups at Whole Foods. They come in a pretty solid little container, and you throw them in the freezer, and it doesn't quite feel like candy. It feels like a little tasty morsel, like a dessert. It's almost kind of healthy.
Number 2, pink Starburst. I love pink Starburst. If you can just give me some pink Starburst, that's good enough for me. I don't need the other colors. Number 3, the blue Tootsie Rolls. I don't know what flavor that is. The blue Tootsie Rolls.
Vanilla.
Vanilla. I love the vanilla Tootsie Rolls. They're great. And it helps that they're blue. I like bright colors. Number 4, white Airheads. Mystery Airheads.
Yes, Chris. Yes, Chris.
I was pillaging my kids' buckets last night for white Airheads. I don't want them to get surprised. I'll take the plunge. Surprise me. I know what they take. What is the flavor? I know they call it mystery, but white Airheads, what flavor is that?
It's just
in
sugar.
actuality.
Sugar. Flavor.
Okay. Number 5, and this is going to surprise some people, and this could be controversial, but Whoppers. I love Whoppers, dude.
They got a nice
Whoppers.
pop to them.
It feels like you're eating a tasty office supply. Like a packing peanut covered in chocolate that melts in your mouth. When you were a kid and you sampled all the inedible things in and like you ate some packing peanuts and shit, or
No.
you didn't eat that? I tried a packing peanut once. The way it dissolves in your mouth. It's the same thing with Whoppers, but edible. The texture is perfect. It just melts. And then off the bench, 6-man, and this gets a lot of flack when I roll this takeout, but candy corn. Candy corn is a staple. It's a staple for a reason, and some people hate on it. I don't understand. Nestle Crunch, if you're going to do chocolate. And I like Butterfinger. The problem with Butterfinger is Butterfinger gets stuck in your teeth. So if you're trick-or-treating with babes as a teenager, you don't want to have a bunch of Butterfinger all over your teeth.
Plus, you probably got braces, too.
Exactly. Yeah,
well,
it's not good
Chris,
for...
those are some great selections, and I'm proud
you.
of
Appreciate
you.
it.
But I want to tell you about some of these deep cuts.
Okay.
So, like, I don't know if you're familiar with this service called GoPuff, Chris. Are you?
No, I'm not. Actually, I mean, I'm familiar, but I haven't used it.
So I got into GoPuff in Philly, and it was like kind of a stoner thing where like, but I was using it for candy, of course.
Yeah.
But it started off as like a delivery service for like lighters and like rolling papers and like shit like that. But then got really big during the pandemic as like kind of a all-encompassing delivery service, and it's actually really fast. So like usually it's like 30 minutes. They just have a warehouse. But anyway, I will order candy on GoPuff if I'm having a down night. And they've got some deep cut candies on there that are really good. Laffy Taffy Laugh Bites banana.
Oh yeah,
check them out.
I like banana Laffy Taffy.
Very good. Yeah, the Laugh Bites are very good. Also, I'm a big trolley guy. Trolley eggs. We used to bike to the gas station growing up and buy trolley eggs. They were $1.19. So I'd like mow lawns.
Would you live in the 40s?
Dude, I just lived in an idyllic Minnesota town, Minnetonka.
It was like frozen in time. Hey, has the civil rights movement happened in your hometown?
That's a funny joke, Chris. Anyway, what was that about Charlottesville with tiki torches and stuff like that?
I think they all came from Wisconsin.
Anyway,
it's no longer a swing state, I hear.
This is a candy discussion, not a politics discussion, Chris.
Okay, well,
But trolley eggs are great, and Trolley does some fun experimental stuff. Trolley bursting crawlers are very good. I'm sure people are familiar with Trolley bright crawlers.
Of course.
I should have put candy in the open. He's going to give a whole TED Talk.
This is going to be 40 minutes. Yeah, welcome to my TED Talk. Also, High Chew, huge High Chew guy. The consistency is elite. Also, High Chew sweet and sour. Check those out.
Good.
But we're talking earlier about Nerds Ropes clusters. They're actually called Nerds Gummy clusters, but it's basically just a chopped up Nerds rope. But it's great because it's like the inside part of a Nerds rope covered in a Nerds on the outside. But the very berry,
just thinking about it, Beau.
Gummy clusters are super good. And then another one is I'm a big Haribo guy. Twin Snakes are really good. Star Mix
didn't have
also
a list.
Very good.
He just had one. He didn't have a list.
I mean, I could go on and on about
CVS
this.
aisle.
Sour Punch Assorted Bites, super good also.
Okay.
But then, like, if I'm going to go chocolate, I'm probably going to go Reese's Fast Break because it's like, it's dense.
Okay.
You know?
Yeah.
It's really good. But Chris, I mean, I could talk about this shit all day.
Well,
I'm also partial to Jelly Belly sour jelly beans.
Make it stop.
Really good. But yeah, I mean, also recently they released, Fruit Stripes zebra gum.
Yeah.
You know that stuff back in the day. They recently released a gummy, so I kind of had to check it out.
How the hell did you lose 55 pounds?
I just work out a fucking ton. It's perfect.
Okay. All right, that's good. That's good, Beau. And
those are my candy deep cuts. Yeah. Check them out.
As evidenced by this conversation, people spend a lot of money on candy on Halloween, and I saw a figure last night. In totality, like with all the giant skeletons and the fake tombstones. Last night I was trick or treating. I saw a fake tombstone in front of a house that said, I forget what it said, but there were like 5 of them, and they all, people are really spending. People spend on Halloween. $10 billion a year people are spending on Halloween. Matt, you're the intellectual with a shiny college degree, former educator. What? He took that as an insult. Okay. Matt's over there side-eyeing
fucking
me.
nerd.
Are you saying I'm educated?
You got that degree, college boy.
What can we do with $10 billion? I feel like
we could buy the Dallas Cowboys.
Could we?
Yeah.
If people just save their money, we could pool together and buy the Dallas Cowboys or solve food insecurity almost entirely for a year, I think.
Or we could buy a fuck ton of bulk candy on Amazon.
Good job, Mr. Kingston. Yeah, but there's a lot of shit we could do with $10 billion. If we just took 1 year off of Halloween, like we could put that towards a really good cause. I don't know what we could put it towards, but we could put it towards like maybe paying Lamar Jackson or something like that. Which we're going to talk about in a second because of Roquan Smith. Hey, I manifested a trade yesterday. Beau, did you see that? I should do it again.
That was really funny. Yeah, do it again.
Have there been more trades?
Not yet.
Okay, so for the people at home, I tweeted at the NFL. What time was it? It was, let's see. I tweeted at the NFL at 2 or no, I tweeted at the NFL at 3:18. 3:32, 14 minutes later, I think even sooner, Roquan Smith got traded. I tweeted at the NFL, someone do a trade. The NFL tweeted back, okay, we did. Okay, so right now I'm going to say do it again. Do it again. We'll see what happens. But the Ravens gave up a 2 and a 5 for Roquan Smith. Roquan Smith, who wanted reportedly upwards of $20 million in the offseason, and the Bears wouldn't pay him. And I don't blame the Bears for not paying him. The Bears have decided they're a little ways off. I don't blame them. This is not a premium position. Okay, I don't blame him. But Roquan Smith really felt like he was perfect for that city. So it's kind of a shame, that thinking about it this way, in another time, in another era, he would have been a perfect Bear and played there 15 years. I mean, like he would have been a perfect Chicago Bear. But they got to part ways with some of their best players, and they do that, and they get a 2 and a 5 for Roquan Smith. Now, the only thing is if he walks because he's up this year, you get a conditional third if you're the Ravens. So the Ravens trying to make a mini Von Miller move on the second level. They think they're contenders. They're 5-3, I think it is.
They now lead the AFC North after the Monday night Bengals loss, and they do not play a team with a winning record the rest of the way.
Yeah, and they were my pick to win the North, and I think they do win the North. I mean, when Deshaun Watson comes back, and we'll talk about the Browns more in a second, I think they're going to be scary. I think they're going to be among the best teams in the league, but they're going to be among the teams that I'd least want to see win in the league. I'll leave it there. If you're the Ravens, you make this trade in the afternoon, you watch the game last night, and you're thinking, that's a good thing we made this trade. I mean, this is we were talking about this off camera. This makes sense. Their defense hasn't been great. When you look at the group of linebackers that he's adding to south of Patrick Queen, you've got Bynes, Klein, and Harrison. And there's a little bit of a drop off there. I thought they had more at linebacker. When you really sit there and look at it, this makes a lot of sense. And when you watch Nick Chubb last night, it makes even more sense. And when you think about their aspirations as a team, it makes a lot of sense. So Roquan Smith projected to demand $17.6 million on the open market. Now, maybe if you're Roquan, knowing that you're joining a contender, you'll take a little haircut and it won't hurt so much, or maybe you franchise him. Maybe it's one of these tag situations, but then you can't tag Lamar Jackson. So Somebody gets the bag and somebody gets the tag. You know what I'm saying? And I'm looking at it and I'm wondering who's who. But they're, if they want to keep for what they gave up for him, I think they're probably going to try to sign him in the offseason. Reed, Beau, what do you guys think?
Yeah, well, I mean, first of all, I actually don't think the Ravens. I thought the Ravens defense played pretty well on Thursday night against the Bucs, and the score is 27-22. I don't know if that's necessarily indicative of like 22 points for the Bucs. They're dry as hell. They are really struggling on offense. I don't think. I thought the Ravens defense looked a lot better than expected, especially without Calais Campbell. Up front, but maybe what you said is one of them gets the bag, one of them gets the tag. Maybe it's indicative that the Ravens are gonna, pay Lamar Jackson at some point during the season. But who knows? It's definitely going to be tough to lock both those guys up. I don't know. What do you think, Cowboy?
What is the tag number on a linebacker like that, Reed? Do you know? It's probably easier to stomach than the QB tag, right? Yeah. So I mean, it definitely is. I think that's probably how it goes. I think they probably pay Lamar. You would hope, and then that tag number is 18-7 for a linebacker. And this is an off-the-ball linebacker. People don't think of this as a premium position, but the Ravens obviously do. In their division, it is a little bit more of a premium position and based on the needs. So I'm hoping it works out for both parties because I'm really pulling for the Bears. I have a buddy there who's in the front office, Ian Cunningham, who's going to be a GM one day. He was in Philly. I play with him at Virginia. He was a guard at Virginia, and he's a lot of the reason why I ended up in Philly. Honestly, it was calling Ian and then him hitting up Joe Douglas, and then that's how it happens. So I'm really rooting for Ian. I'm rooting for the Bears. I'm rooting for Justin Fields. But I also would love to see Lamar get the help he deserves. And a lot of people think, let's throw another wide receiver at it. I think the biggest thing the Ravens can have happen in the second half of the season offensively is I think they can get guys back. I mean, that would be. I mean, Mark Andrews is dinged right now. That's an enormous hole in that offense if he's not out there. And then what's going on with Dobbins? Dobbins is out for a while, right?
Dobbins is out. Bateman avoided serious injuries, coming back soon. The other thing to keep in mind with Roquan Smith is that the Ravens tried to go get Bobby Wagner earlier this offseason.
Right.
Now they get Roquan Smith, who's second overall to him in total tackles since 2018. Roquan Smith can also be a kind of role model veteran presence that Patrick Queen can build off, whether that's for the rest of the season or
long-term
seasons and beyond.
No, but I like Roquan over Bobby Wagner, not because I think one's better than the other necessarily, but like take the age into account.
Right.
And that sort of thing. And if you are planning on solving this problem for, 3 to 5 years, Roquan seems like a nice fit. So I don't see a clear loser in this trade. I'll put it that way. And I don't know what the reviews are on this trade. If people think the Ravens got hosed or they
No, it's pro Ravens.
Okay.
And it helps that Roquan Smith is very dynamic in not only coverage and middle linebacking skills, but also pass rushing.
Yep.
He can rush the pass.
He can add. Yep.
Similar to some of the other pass rushers they have, and they have a good pass rush group.
Yep, no question. So that, as you watched last night, again, that makes a lot of sense. And last night sucked, man. Like another. I mean, it was entertaining in some ways. Because it was interesting. It was interesting to see the Bengals come back down to earth. I think I said this a week or two ago, people are starting to say, the Bengals are rounding into form, this, that, and the third. But a lot of what we based that upon were a couple games where, the Bengals got hot. They had favorable matchups. You look at Atlanta. I mean, Atlanta was down some of their best guys in the back end, and they're one of the worst DVOA teams against the pass in the league. So, this was a big test for Burrow, and I actually, because I didn't want to root for the Browns and I didn't want to bet the Browns, I didn't bet this game, and it felt really good. Yeah, I just sat there. I bet like over field goals for like a tiny amount. That didn't hit, but I didn't even care, dude. It felt really good. It was kind of liberating. So I was able to sit there and just kind of watch the game, and I don't know, man. The Bengals. We talked about this last night a bit, Beau. Their offensive line, sometimes I forget who said it, but don't mistake, activity for progress. I mean, and that definitely applies to their free agent acquisitions up front. And we were talking about this. Sometimes when you have a problem and you want to solve it right now, as they did coming off that Super Bowl season, it's not like you wait a year and forego getting Burrow what you think is help right now for better free agents in a year. A lot of the guys that they signed this year, you signed them at market value because you needed help right now, and you probably overpaid some of them, and maybe some of them weren't the ideal choices. And you're seeing that now. Like, he's under siege. I mean, he really still is under siege, and you see what a big difference not having Jamar Chase makes. And on the other side of it, having Amari Cooper for Jacoby Brissett, who's not Joe Burrow. You see what a big difference that makes. But what do you think about up front, Beau?
Yeah, I mean, we talked about this last night at our little fun Monday Night Football Zoom call, but it's kind of like what you said. I think when you try to solve an immediate problem in free agency, a lot of times that can be a big hit. Like look at A.J. Brown for the Eagles. But I think O-line is kind of a position, especially if you have a complete overhaul like that, that can be very hard because you end up overpaying guys and expectations are a lot higher than what these individuals are going to end up producing. I think that really is the case at O-line too, because it's such a thing where you need to have a complete unit. And when you look at some of the best O-lines in the NFL, a lot of those guys have been together for a long time.
Right.
We kind of talk about the Eagles a lot, but they're a hot team in the NFL right now, and their O-line is playing really, really well. And those guys have been together for a long time. They're not bringing in stopgap free agents on the O-line to solve problems. They've drafted O-line really well, and I guess it's easy to compare the Bengals O-line to the Browns O-line, and I watched the Browns O-line last night. I thought they were really, really good, and that's a unit coached by Bill Callahan, who's one of the best offensive line coaches in the history of the NFL. And that's a unit that's been together too. Like Joel Bitonio feels like he's been there forever.
Yes.
The center Posick, he's a relatively new add to that group, but and I guess so is Conklin, but they've been together for a long time, or I guess a couple years, and they've played a lot of football together. Whereas the Bengals O-line feels somewhat pieced together in free agency, and we saw, I don't think there's a better edge rush. I don't think there's a better pass rusher in the NFL than Myles Garrett. You see,
if you let him, if people let him work. Yeah, and they don't try to change the whole game plan, which since he didn't,
get
since
down
he was
early,
you
have to throw the ball. A guy like Myles Garrett is going to absolutely feast. So I think it's a combination of the O-line not playing well together. You're paying market value for a huge need, kind of a couple of huge needs on offensive line as the Bengals, and I think expectations are high when you do that, but people are never gonna satisfy those, those.
Well, who are the guys they brought in? And Karras is not a premium guy, right?
No, he's kind of a tough guy. He's a grinder. I like him a lot as a player and a person. I think he works his ass off and gets the most out of his, ability. And he's, kind of a tough guy. But I've played with Kappa in Tampa, and I really like him. But he's not Wyatt Teller, for the Browns, who's actually injured right now. But I think you kind of get what I'm saying.
And the right tackle is a Mauler, that they brought in from Dallas. And Jonah Williams being a guy that's been there, he got beat a few times last night. Yeah. He got beat by a guy named Isaiah Thomas. Yeah. And by the way, there's a Michael Jordan on the Panthers, and I'm wondering what we have to do to make that happen. I know the Panthers and the Browns already played each other, but
they should have beef with each other.
That we should legitimately make it happen. We should make this happen. Isaiah Thomas and Michael Jordan.
Some beef for them.
Yeah, I don't think that Isaiah Thomas reduced over a guard that I'm not sure if he played or not in that game, or if he's played at all this year. But when you get Michael Jordan and Isaiah Thomas in the same field. But Jonah Williams got beat a little bit last night.
He got beat with help too against Myles Garrett.
With help. Yeah,
we talked about that sack on that spin move. That was one of the most just pure. That was so graceful, man. Which is kind of bizarre to say when you're talking about a 270-pound.
He ain't 270, bro.
Dude, he is.
Bro, he ain't 15, 20 pounds heavier than me. Okay, that guy is I have a hard time believing he's not 290. You know what I mean?
They showed a picture of the car crash that he was in, and he was just a little bit of a strained, bicep, strained shoulder. It's this dude is fucking pure steel. He's getting rolled over in his car, bounced around, and just walks away from it. But
same thing with Cam Newton. Remember Cam Newton got in that car accident, and then he played pretty soon after. Cam Newton's made of concrete, and Myles Garrett's made of steel.
Well, people are always these football players, they deal with these little micro car crashes every day, and you're I guess he's ready for that, man. He's been preparing for that. But I want to talk about that one rush he had, that sack where he's edge rushing on Jonah Williams, and then the running back's coming to chip him. And I don't know, like, if he was expecting the chip or if he just, how you can kind of feel them when they're coming. And he spun so perfectly right at quarterback depth. And it was like, it was like a counter spin, but like not really, it was beautiful to watch, man. That was such a great rush.
He also had the tip. He had the tip on that pick, the first pick, which was really big because since he didn't want to play this game from behind, like that was not how they wanted to play this game. And the Browns, they want to have a lead, right? If you look at what they can do when they have a lead, their pace of play goes down. They grind clock. I mean, you saw last night, they had no answer for Chubb. He's just too physical. He's so physical inside the tackles, but he presses the edge so effectively.
Yeah.
Like that's a rare combination, a guy who can press the edge, who can kind of just scan A to C and then pop a big run, whether it's the D gap. He can, like you'll get a team block with the tight end and the tackle, and then the tight end will just get enough on the end that now the end's reached and Chubb's out the gate. So I mean, like he's so physical. Having a lead is exactly how they want to play. And now I'm looking at the Bengals. They lose Awuzie last night, probably to an ACL. Reader's out, Jamar Chase is out. Last night they were down Flowers and Apple. I think they had hammies, Reed, I believe. But this is a team that, some of these losses early in the year, we can kind of write off like a team's working through it. They'll figure it out. This is not a loss that I feel like they'll figure it out after. I don't feel like they can work through this. I'm a big Joe Burrow fan. I think they've got really good pieces there. I like some of the players, but we talked about this last year late. They went on a run, right? They weren't that team in December and January all season long, so you had to watch out for a regression, and they have regressed, and now they're banged up. And on one hand, this is an argument for drafting Chase over a tackle because you see the difference in the way the offense operates without him. But on the other hand, Joe Burrow on third down getting drilled, last night. I mean, Joe Burrow not being able to go through his reads and hit a deep out because he knows he can't wait a beat too long. Tataki's going to strip sack him or Garrett's going to bulldoze him.
Right. And they tried to go to some screen stuff too. And I mean, I think Myles Garrett had half a sack on a design screen. So it's like you can't even win there either.
Yep. The screen was terrible. I mean, I don't see them getting a lot better consistently. And, they have the Panthers, the Steelers, the Titans, the Browns, the Pats, the Bucks, the Bills, the Ravens, and the Chiefs left. It doesn't feel like out of all these games, I wonder where they're going to be a favorite the most. I mean, like they're going to play the Panthers, they're going to play the Steelers, and they're going to play. I don't know that they're really heavy favorites against anybody the rest of the year.
538 has them as a dog to even make the playoffs, only 47%.
Yeah, so this is one of those things, and they're going to have another offseason where they got to make some hard decisions, and they got money into some of these veteran offensive linemen they brought in, but then they're going to have to make a decision on what they want to do going forward, and I'm not trying to put them in the offseason just yet, but the Browns, on the other hand, snapping a 4-game skid, looking really good, giving the ball to Nick Chubb. Like, that's exactly what you want to be. And Jacoby Brissett, to be fair, looked really good last night. I mean, for who he is. I mean, he's not like a world beater or anything.
Right. I'd love to talk about that for a sec, Chris. I was really impressed with just how kind of calm, cool, and collected he was. I think they mentioned last night he's in, year 7? But he looked like, think about kind of a journeyman. There's a couple journeyman quarterbacks in Brissett and Geno Smith that have kind of really kind of turned it on this year. That was really impressive. I thought he did a really good job of just managing the game once they got up. And one thing I really want to talk about too that I mentioned earlier is just the Browns run game was so good. And you talked about Chubb and how physical he is, but he's also out there hurdling dudes effortlessly.
He's got the entire package. He's got the entire package.
They do such a good job with that. That zone run scheme, and they're probably Brown's best offensive lineman. Wyatt Teller is injured, and they got our boy fucking Froholt in there at right guard. But they were crushing those zone runs. Their gap scheme runs didn't quite work as well, but they had some really good sprint draw stuff on 2nd and 10, and I thought they played a really solid game. I mean, we talked about how boring it was, and it was at times. But I thought the Browns were. I mean, I was like actually kind of impressed with them, just from like a full team kind of standpoint. Like they had some takeaways. You talked about the tip, and there was another kind of like pick fumble situation in there that we saw too. Right, but
Deshaun Watson comes back. Where do you put them? Like their roster, top to bottom. You take the record out of it in December. Yeah. I don't. They're a top 5 to 7 team. Yeah. Like when they get a quarterback back.
Too late. I mean, he's coming back week 13.
He probably really is. I hope he is. Yeah. But exactly. At the same time, looking at it objectively, just looking at the football players on the field. This is a scary outfit, dude. It really is. Yeah. And Amari Cooper was great last night. Beat double coverage, beat man coverage.
Yep. Had a great catch on that one ball that was, he was leaning out for it deep. Mm-hmm. But I really I kind of liked how physical the Browns were too. We saw when they got down by the goal line, where they brought in all the 2 extra offensive linemen and direct snapped it to Chubb, which is just, I thought that was just a really understanding.
It's a rare formation
as an offense, right? And then the next play, I think there was an offsides or something like that, and then they had that 2-point conversion. I was watching the Manning cast too for the first time, which I'd like to talk about here in a second. But
yeah. The Manning cast. This was a tailor-made Manning cast night. Yeah, I just wasn't interested in the game, and the game was the worst part about this game was it was a 4-score game. Because it was 25-0, I think it was. Yeah. And even when Joe was making a little comeback and in the fourth quarter, Eli and Peyton are talking. Peyton and Eli are talking about Eli's that player has made a big jump year 1 to year 2 on the Manning cast. He's kind of the star now.
Only one of them has ever been on the Greenlight Pod, so
that's true. Something. Eli and Peyton are talking about, do you think you got enough for comeback here? But it was constantly a game that was 4 scores, because of that point differential. And then interestingly, if you were gambling, the 45 is such a funny number, right? You're like, maybe I should buy points up or down depending on, but it landed squarely on 45, 32-13. You're not going to see that score again this year. And it lands squarely on 45. It's incredible some nights. It's not always incredible, but last night it was right on the money. So the Manning cast was good, man, because we got to see our buddies. We got to see our buddy Jason Kelsey on there in the Q-Zip, which I did not expect. I didn't expect to see Jason in the Q-Zip. Yeah.
No, and that's the only reason I turned in. I mean, it was my first Manning cast, and who was the Boomer as the first guest, right? And I was kind of like, I was trying to watch the game, so a little bit I was like, Manningcast is low-key distracting. I felt like it was just me and you shooting the shit watching the game, which is kind of fun, but Eli comes out with some weird mask on. I'm like, what the hell is going on here? I'm tuning in to watch
You don't know what that mask is?
No, I saw it with Chad Powers, but commit to it, man. Put all that shit back on. Not this weird, gross mask. But then when Jason and Travis went on, first of all, Travis is just the coolest dude in the world, right? He's sitting there he makes a quarter zip look cool, right?
Yeah,
which is kind of hard to do. And then
can
Jason
you imagine me sitting at the link watching a game in that fucking hat he was wearing? How stupid I would look. But he looked kind of cool.
He looked cool, man.
He pulls it off, dude.
And then Papa Kelsey sitting next to him with an Eagles visor on, just looking you look at Papa Kelsey, you're like, yeah, that's Jason in 30 years or whatever. It's you just can't help but see that.
Yeah.
It was funny because I was talking with Jason a little bit. He was so nervous. I was expecting him to come in and his typical just maybe wearing a wife beater or something, and he's got the quarter zip on, and he looked he did it very professionally. And we talked about that just a little bit last night, which was funny. And I texted Kels this morning, just shooting the shit with him a little bit, asking him.
Well,
about
you want to hear if you looked like an idiot. I just want somebody to text me when I went on there. I just you're so nervous.
Yeah,
it's such a the delay's tough. It's tough not being in. And then there's a game going on. Do you get off your point before the end of the play? Do you wrap it up before a big moment? You got to keep an eye on on the action because you don't want to talk over something crazy, but you
Right.
don't want to be like a 3-word guy and be awkward. There's dead silences. I mean, it's a tough ask, and you would think it would be easier because it's Travis and Jason, so it takes a little pressure off you, and maybe it does. But there's 4 fucking boxes.
Yeah. There's kind of a lot of voices in that, you know, and then that's what Jason said. He said just the delay makes it kind of hard because like there's the game going on in real time, you know, and then you have the audio delay, so you're kind of playing catch up. But I kind of thought they crushed it, and I told you last night I'd be the first one to shit on Kelsey if he said something stupid, just because it's so fun to kind of just razz him a little bit. But
I texted him and I was like, you did great, man. Like, really, you did great. Like, because I just wanted him to know that, because obviously he was nervous, but he didn't come across nervous. I just know him, so I know he was a little bit nervous. So I texted him like, you did great. And he's like, man, you sure? Like, fuck, blah 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 blah. And you know, I was pretty stoned, so I just thought maybe I was really happy to see Jason on TV. And I texted you, and I was like, did I gas him up unnecessarily? Was he okay? And you were like, nah, he was good. So I actually loved hearing the Batman story, because this whole Batman craze in Philly, I had no idea. You know, these things that you're too busy to take the time to figure out what the fuck the origin story of this whole thing is. And I'm just watching A.J. Brown run around in Batman gear. I'm watching, you know, Darius Slay run around in Batman gear. There's people wearing capes and shit. And I'm just like, yeah, that's funny. I have no idea why. Jason explained it last night. I love the Batman thing now. I had to have it explained to me like I was 60 years old. And the fact that Jason threw on the Batman. So for people listening at home that are just like me and just didn't know what the fuck any of these guys were doing, like, I guess Darius Slay has thought up a bunch of different kinds of Batmans in the Eagles locker room. You've got fast Batman. You have strong Batman.
It's like skinny Batman is.
Yeah, and then they wanted
Smith
they wanted a fat Batman. So Kelsey was like, yeah, I'll be fat Batman.
Yeah, I like to think that Kels just had the Batman mask like just in his pants, you know, during the game, just waiting to bust it out.
Sweaty
but like, how
Batman
fun is that
mask.
too, though? Like when you're winning and you're good and you're confident, but you're also like having so much fun, and that's what the Eagles are doing right now. That just you know, kind of reminds me of, you know, 2017. Like, remember how much fun we had just like playing loose and just like having that kind of confidence where you know you're gonna play really well, and also like, fuck it, I'm gonna pack this Batman mask on the sideline because I know we're gonna win this.
But he was still afraid of Nick Sirianni. He said it.
Which
he walked by Nick Sirianni.
Funny, Kelsey.
Which is so funny because he's our age basically, right?
I know.
So he doesn't have an age thing. He wasn't like a linebacker or a defensive lineman. Like, there's no reason we should be afraid of Nick Sirianni, but he's intense and he's tall. And so again, like, this is when I met Nick Sirianni, I was like, he's a tall guy, man. I'm looking eye to eye.
He's kind of
with this
got
guy.
like some moody little eyes where you feel like there's something, you know, there's some sort of body buried there. Like, he's got some darkness in him that you don't know. But I think it's so funny when Kelsey's like, yeah, I was a little scared of Nick Sirianni, because like, is there a more untouchable Philly athlete? You know, like, this is a guy that literally dressed up as a mummer and like said the F-bomb in front of millions of people at the parade, and to hear him be nervous about something like that when they're, you know, blowing out the Steelers is
I just think it said a lot about Nick Sirianni's his stage presence. Okay, and ironically, that's what people thought he didn't have last year.
I know.
He got up there and
he had some
he was
weird
nervous.
interview, and people, whatever. One thing I thought was great too from Travis is, you know, Amari Cooper threw that pick on that. The Browns early tried to design a cute little play where like Amari Cooper got the ball and then, you know, threw it deep and he threw a pick, and Travis was talking about how he did that one time against the Giants. I went and looked that play up, and it was like the most broken play of all time. Like, Travis had the ball for like 5 seconds and then just ripped it downfield, like completely undesigned. Like, who else in the world is going to have the confidence to do that? He threw it probably like 50 yards too. So if you guys want to go look that up, it's great. But, you know, Andy Reid draws up this trick play for Travis Kelce to, like, you know, throw. It's like a one look, you know, trick play, and like Travis is like, fuck this, and takes it and just rips it. It was a beautiful pass.
Interception?
Interception, yeah.
Okay,
And like,
I'm looking it up.
I'm sure Travis was just completely unfazed. Probably goes to the bench, like, fuck it, I took a chance. I just thought that was so funny. I think Travis is like the coolest dude in the world.
We're about to talk about drip kings. Travis is a drip king, and when you're a drip king, and I'm watching, is this the Giants play? Yeah, he's just running around back there. He just said "fuck it" and threw it into double coverage. It was a great punt.
I know,
it was
but
really a great punt.
Look at how shocked the wide receiver is to see the ball coming in his way. Like,
what the fuck was going on in this game? It was 6-6 against the Giants in the fourth quarter. It's a great punt by Travis.
2014 or something.
Yeah, whenever it was. Yeah, the graphics are pretty cheeks. Yeah. Okay,
but I'm not sure if I'm going to tune into the Manning cast again, Chris. Like, that was. I don't know. Sometimes, like, you watch some of
I like to watch the game. I love what they're doing. I like to watch the game because I'm working. I got to know what's going on.
Was that the worst primetime game of the season?
No. So I had a little list of the worst primetime games of the season working last night, and there's just so many of them. I feel like this year sucks, man. The elephant in the room is looking at this weekend, again, 2 weekends in a row. You have one game between two teams with winning records. That's Sunday night. So you get to go the whole slate without seeing a game between two teams with winning records. Same thing this past weekend where you had the Giants and the Seahawks. And again, like, quarterbacks drive this league and the entertainment value of this league. And if you look at, like, who the best teams on offense are this year and who the worst teams on offense this year are, like total yardage and that sort of thing, like some of the worst teams – some of the smaller markets, some of the quarterbacks we're not as interested in are leading the league in yardage and some of these metrics, and some of the worst offensive teams are some of the best quarterbacks, or the quarterbacks that, whether it's we've had Hall of Famers struggle, like Russell Wilson struggling in Denver. You had Matt Ryan.
Is Russell Wilson a Hall of Famer? Is Matt Ryan a Hall of Famer?
I kind of wonder if the Denver chapter affects Russell's Hall of Fame.
That's very. I think that'd be an interesting conversation to have, Chris. Because actually, this is getting a little bit off topic here, but on Thursday, the Bucks, play the Ravens on Thursday Night Football. So the Thursday night Amazon crew is in town, and I was hanging out with Fitz and Richard Sherman, and we were talking about this exact same thing about Russell, because Sherman was with Russ in Seattle, and he had some very interesting things to say about that, and he actually brought up the comparison of Russell Wilson in Denver. Like, he thinks that is really going to hurt him. Which I'm very kind of interested to see how that unfolds, because Russ is kind of locked into the Denver Broncos. They have a little bit of a financial marriage here for the next couple seasons, and it's very interesting to see kind of how fast public opinion has turned on Russell, and he's obviously not playing very well, and he's a little bit tone deaf, I think, with some of the stuff that he's doing, and does that hurt his Hall of Fame status? We'll see. Matt Ryan just got benched.
That's not going to hurt Matt Ryan as much. I think Matt Ryan's less of a slam dunk. I do think you could make an argument for Matt Ryan, but I think the Indy thing, everybody knows he's physically washed, right?
Right.
But Russ is, he's kind of he's spoken like he's in his prime, and people who weren't watching closely the last 2 years probably think he's still, that magician that had LOB on the other side of him and won a Super Bowl and that sort of thing. Like, he's not the same guy anymore, but the decline has not been as steep physically as the one for Matt Ryan. But you're right, there is going to be an evaluation process that includes how he played in Denver. And but look at this year. I mean, you've got Tampa struggling. You have Green Bay struggling. Their offenses, not the defenses. So what you came to the yard to watch is not happening. You have Russ. You have Matt Ryan. Some of the most prolific scoring teams in the league are not teams we were extremely interested in to start the season.
We talked about this a little bit last night too, Chris. But like, I remember in the offseason being so excited about the NFC West and watching some of these young quarterbacks develop, like Justin Herbert, or Derek Carr's got Devontae Adams and a new coaching staff. Like, how's that going to go in Vegas and things like that? And it just feels so disappointing, and it's some of these games just feel so dead offensively, and you're like, what the fuck? Like, this is not the NFL that I've been so excited about in years past. So it is an interesting thing, and I don't know exactly what it is. I don't know if it's
I know what it is. It's the quarterback movement. This is an awkward era, and it's a transition period for a lot of the greatest quarterbacks that we grew up watching. You had some of them retire over the last couple of years. You have some of them hanging around. And then you have guys who are not performing as well as you might expect this year. And it's just been this perfect storm. And the league's like, yeah, well, margin of victory is down. The games are closer than they are on average, right? Wouldn't it, Reed? But they're not. But they're not. The scoring's down. So like people don't care that a game's 12-7. I mean, we've had, or 12-10 or something. We've had some really awful ball games this year. I mean, whether it's, and the Bears have been involved in a couple of them. Like, you remember San Francisco and Chicago the first week. I mean, that was hideous. It was hideous. It was Chicago and the commies. It's the Broncos and Indy. I mean, like there's so many
Broncos versus whoever they're playing.
Pretty much. But at least there's like not being able to look away from a car accident kind of thing going on with Russ, where people want to tune in and see.
That's a good point. It is a conversation point. Like no such thing as bad press and oh, did you see what Russ did this week kind of deal? But I mean, when you're talking about how obviously it's such a quarterback-driven league, and we're expecting such a big jump from some of these young quarterbacks. Like I keep going back to Justin Herbert because I love him as a player and his arm talent, and I think he's really tough. You see him playing through these rib injuries and stuff like that. And it just feels like, when you look at like quarterbacks that have really, really, it's interesting because you have quarterbacks like Justin Herbert and, Russ and Derek Carr and stuff like that are really good, that are struggling. And you feel like, oh, maybe they're not surrounded by the talent that, some of these other quarterbacks are. Like, Jalen Hurts has A.J. Brown, and he chucks it up to him in double coverage, perfect ball, and it's caught. And but then Tyreek Hill left Mahomes in Kansas City, and Mahomes is still balling. So it's kind of trying to diagnose it and figure out what exactly it is, and it's a very interesting comparison to make. Josh Allen's probably the best football player in the NFL right now, and he's got Diggs to help him. So like, do some of these quarterbacks need help? Do they just need defensive help? Like,
I don't know, man. And if you look at the top two guys in passing yards right now in the NFL are Joe Burrow and Tom Brady. And you would not think it, right? I guess it makes sense because they've had some deficits, and they both had some big games. Like, strangely, Tom going off against Kansas City, or Joe going for a bunch against Atlanta, or some of these other teams that he's actually been able to put together a 300-plus yard day. Matt Ryan's in the top 6 with 2008 passing yards. Like, it's just a weird fucking year. Jared Goff, Geno Smith, Kyler Murray. The only guys in the top 10 that are on winning teams when it comes to passing yardage are Geno Smith, Justin Herbert, technically, I guess, or are they 500? Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes. I mean, Burrow, Brady, Matt Ryan, Kyler Murray, Jared Goff, Jacoby Brissett at 10.
Yeah.
So it's just a weird fucking year, man, and I don't know if it's going to get it. And we know, like, this season's going to get really good when we trim some of the fat. There's just a lot of fat. There's a lot of bad teams. There's a lot of good bad teams. Who are the contenders, in your opinion, right now? Like, people
besides the obvious,
like tiers of contenders right now.
Yeah, I mean, like, you got the Bills and the Chiefs and the Eagles, right?
Yep, they're in one class, right? In my opinion, they're in one class.
Kind of have a bunch of rats in the bucket that are
rats. I mean, there's some good teams here.
Like there are good teams that are just completely underperforming. Like, when you look at the Bucs roster, I know,
but they're not contenders to me.
No, I know, but it's bizarre to me when you look at the Bucs and you're like, how are they not better offensively?
It's pretty simple. It's pretty fucking simple. They're not that dynamic outside, and they're hurt. Mike Evans ain't enough, and Chris Godwin off an ACL ain't enough, and Gage in free agency ain't enough, and so I don't. And the inside of the offensive line is banged up. So I mean, like, we knew that. But if you look at that second tier, this is the interesting part. Like, I do think the Seahawks are in that second tier.
Agreed.
I think they're in the bottom of the second tier.
Yeah.
I think the top of that second tier goes, whether it's the Vikings, whether it's the Niners,
the
Ravens, the Dolphins are in that second tier.
Cowboys
right?
Gotta be in there.
The Cowboys are probably in that. the very top of that second tier, if not in the first tier.
I'd break that second tier in half and with like
teams
Cowboys,
that are playing
Cowboys,
well,
Ravens, Vikings, second tier, maybe 49ers second tier, and those other teams are like
and then there are these other teams that are like, kind of, you just don't really know how they're going to perform at the end of the year,
Yep.
And it's these other teams that in this tier, like, are they good? Like, I don't know. Like, look at the AFC East outside of the Bills. I mean, I don't know, man.
We don't have a trade yet, and I tweeted almost 45 minutes ago, so we'll check back in a little bit.
There was an attempted trade. The Rams offered 2 firsts to the Panthers for Brian Burns.
Stop it, Rams! You're not good. Like, you're not going to win a Super Bowl. Like, and you're not going to win a Super Bowl this year.
They don't have any firsts until 2024, so presumably it would have been a 2024-2025. Which how valuable is that to the Panthers who are trying to do it now? That's 1 draft from now, but
yeah, I don't know, man. They offered 2 firsts, and Carolina wouldn't give them up.
Yeah, Carolina wouldn't give it up, which,
that's crazy.
Isn't that like what does Brian Burns have on them? I mean, Brian Burns is a good player, right?
Right.
But 2 firsts?
2 firsts.
How many rushers are you saying no? How many rushers are off limits for 2 firsts in the NFL?
Yeah, but 2 firsts 2 years from now, like that's in NFL times. That's a decade.
Yeah, but for a guy that has not had double digits, bro.
And the Rams project to be bad in a year or two. Like they're not on the upswing.
No. So I don't know, man. This is craziness. You want to talk Drip King? It was a lot of Halloween costumes this week.
Yeah.
Obviously. Yeah. It being a pagan holiday and all that. Did you know Dr. Fax's mom came in the studio, and I think Nate was a little embarrassed because he never shared this, but we were like, Nate, what'd you used to be for Halloween? Or Mama Fax, what did he used to be for Halloween? He's like, I didn't let him dress up. It's a pagan holiday.
Wow, he probably
wasn't Fax is a Halloween virgin.
Yeah, I wasn't allowed to read Harry Potter growing up either.
Yeah, no, probably not.
On the banned book list at the Fax household.
So this is the Drip King of the Week presented by Roback. Use code Greenlight, please. And Reed's going to run us through a couple of these costumes, and we'll see.
Well, we had Myles Garrett last night, right?
What did he look like? What was
he
that?
Was a swole Vecna, man, from Stranger Things.
Oh, it's Stranger
the big
Things.
Bad in Stranger Things,
okay,
and he rolled into the game. I saw that. I was like, oh shit! Like Vecna got in the weight room, man.
Looks like if Freddy Krueger got a hold of some Balco.
Yeah, Vecna's kind of a telekinesis guy, but looks like more of a brawler with the Myles Garrett edition.
Goddamn! Look at how fucking big he is, bro. I know. Just his shoulders are so wide.
Imagine running into Myles Garrett. Vecna in a dark alleyway.
Oh no, not cool. Not cool.
Not cool.
Yeah, okay, he's in the running.
And we had how about Jerry Jones dressing up as a blind ref?
That's funny.
Will he get any repercussions for this?
Right.
What do you think?
Define repercussions. I don't think anybody's hurting Jerry Jones, but that's pretty good. I don't know if he's going to get a lot of calls.
His repercussion is going to be a passive-aggressive text from Roger Goodell.
I mean, if I was blind, I would be fucking. The Cowboys would be on the shit list right now.
Yeah, and we talked about this a little earlier, but I thought a good Drip King was Jason Kelce. With the Batman mask on, just the swag to have that on the sideline, and then also Jason Kelce pregame, if you know what I'm talking about, if you want to show that one.
Oh, yeah, Lane Johnson was dressed as Jason Kelce, it's so funny that outfit has gone so nationally viral. That is legitimately his only outfit. Like, legitimately, Jason Kelce shows up to work in that outfit, gets on the plane in that outfit. Sometimes you got to throw on like a team polo because he's got to mix it up. He wears khakis with sandals all the time. I know I pointed that out one day. Kingston had khakis with sandals.
I feel vindicated that Kelce does the same thing.
Yeah, well, I don't know if that's the bar.
One of the funniest things I've ever seen Kelce wear is, we're all going to Vegas, so this was a little fresh on my mind. When I was maybe my second year in, it was OTAs, and Connor, Travis, and Jason, they're all Cincinnati guys. Like there was some sort of wedding in Vegas, and I was in the cold tub after OTAs with Mark Sanchez. Mark's like, "Hey, you want to go to Vegas?" And I was like, "It was like Thursday, you know." And back then, OTA is like you just go Monday to Thursday.
Yeah.
And I was like, and he's like, "If I buy your flight, will you go? Like we're leaving in an hour and a half." And I was like, "Fuck it, yeah, I'm in." And Kelsey comes rolling into the weight room. He's like, "Yeah, I'll come pick you up," because we all lived in Packer Park right down there by NovaCare.
Yep.
So I'm like figuring out what to pack. Like I got my bags. Kelsey picks me up. He is wearing the grays, you know, the gray sweatpants shorts that they give you at the facility.
Yeah.
With a fucking team issue shirt. And I'm like, "Yo, where are your bags, man?" And he's like, "Oh, I didn't bring any." He had nothing.
Yeah, dude, this guy's amazing.
Literally nothing.
Like my kid has a bigger lunchbox, you know,
blew
like
my
than
mind.
what he brings to a team trip, dude.
Yeah,
It's
we
insane.
landed there. We went to the like little underground mall thing that they have in Vegas, and Kelsey just bought 3 outfits. It was like Allen Iverson. And he just left them in Vegas, and I was like, "This is the most stunning thing I've ever seen in my life."
Every time I pack, I feel like like a beauty queen going to a pageant or something. When I think about Jason Kelsey and how little he packs and how much I'm overpacking, I feel like such a diva. I'm sitting there folding my clothes and cramming them in corners, and I'm thinking about him with that little fucking tiny gym bag going to Seattle for a 2-day trip. Like, where's your playbook? Where's your fucking iPad? Where's your underwear? Do you pack underwear? Like,
Nothing.
I need so many things to leave the house.
So funny.
Yeah, no. He's definitely in the running for Drip King. The Lane Johnson outfit was great.
We also had Donovan Peoples-Jones. He went as a Power Ranger last night, walking down the tunnel. That looked good. Joe Burrow was Joe Burrow. He just had Boo on his shirt, which I appreciate. Nice costume.
funny.
And then, Beau, tell us, did you have a hand in Gronk's costume? Him and his
saw that.
girlfriend dressed up.
Yeah, that was a good one,
like
Rob.
some 80s sportswear folks.
No, they did the Ken and Barbie
Yep.
from the new Barbie movie coming out, and they actually look really good too.
That's pretty
Yeah,
good.
yeah.
Well, I mean, when
saw
you're
that.
fucking famous and you have handlers, you can get a dope costume. I'm pretty sure, Camille's like, "Hey, make it happen. Make my my Boo thing look like Ryan Gosling."
I had a pretty solid costume that I felt really good about this weekend. I was a really good Kid Rock. I'll send you guys a photo.
You're Kid Rock?
Yeah, I'll hit the green light group chat with that. I think you'll.
That was off the board. Like, what? I didn't even know
Drip
people
King of
were
the
being
Week.
Kid Rock.
Drip King
no
of the Week,
politics.
Beau
Yeah,
Allen.
no politics.
Oh, Kid Rock.
Did your
get
lady
canceled? I
friend
must
go
have
as
missed that.
Marjorie Green Taylor?
Little Pamela Anderson, Kid Rock. They were married for about 5 months or
Yeah,
something.
I mean, you should have seen. I'm sure you did the Machine Gun Kelly and Megan Fox thing.
I
How
saw
happy
that.
are you for Machine Gun Kelly? I mean,
Dude,
the guy
I honestly
supposedly had a
don't
Megan
get it,
Fox,
man.
but you don't give a damn?
No, I don't get it.
Oh, you don't get what?
I don't like Machine Gun Kelly. What's the appeal?
Oh, they're going to say you don't
Seems-
get Megan Fox.
No,
I
no,
was
no,
gonna
no,
boot you
no.
off the podcast.
I get that, but like
There's
Machine
anything.
Gun Kelly, he's got some. I don't know, man. What's going on there?
Probably a big dick. Yeah. That's the only thing I can think of. Yeah, he was doing lines off of Megan Fox.
Yeah, I respect the not give a fuck factor for that. Posting just doing some blow off your girls.
I don't know if it was blow.
Yeah, well, I like to think it was.
Some of the people with no septums were weighing in, and they were saying it looked like heroin or Adderall or something. Which Tommy Lee wasn't
that's-
doing Adderall off Pam
Talk
Anderson.
about getting in character.
Yeah. You know, those cokeheads, they probably get a lot of post-nasal kind of stuff, huh? Think about it. I mean, like, I'm sitting here washing my hands, doing the ABCs. I'm blowing my nose. I'm making sure, like, I don't touch my nose with my hands. Like, cokeheads, the whole pandemic, probably just doing lines through dollar bills, right? The dirtiest things on the planet are dollar bills. They can't even get, like, a cleaner thing to blow coke through. And I've never done that. But I can imagine that people with that habit end up with a lot of like little, upper respiratory symptoms. Yeah? Not that anybody in here knows.
I've
but
heard that some people
Fuck if
have
I
to get
know.
like nasal surgery and stuff like that. Check this out up on the screen.
Oh, Beau as Kid Rock.
My name is Kid, baby.
think you got to hold the kid longer.
It was so funny, dude. I was singing Kid Rock songs all night, and then I realized I only knew like 6 of them.
Yeah.
I had a little pregame at my house, and just Kid Rock on repeat. Kid Rock stuck in my head all weekend.
What were your favorite 3?
Oh, I actually really like Picture. Probably Picture, Cowboy, and Bow with the Bow, wa bang the bang.
Do you like the Sheryl Crow song?
I do, yeah. I was singing that at the party. It was a good time, man.
Okay.
You should wear that outfit outside and intimidate those construction folks off.
No, they're going to ask him for autographs. That's Kid Rock, man.
Kid Rock isn't really a costume. It's more of a lifestyle, you know.
Is there were there any other costumes that went viral this weekend?
Those are our nominees.
Nominees.
Right there. And so we know Beau's nominating himself.
Yeah. Shameless nomination.
I'm giving the Drip King to I'm giving it to Donovan Peoples-Jones, man. Because think about the audacity of coming. I know it's Halloween, but like he didn't just dress up as a Power Ranger. That took effort. And then like he stopped in the tunnel and like did a whole thing and
had a little entrance.
And then he went out immediately, like hurdled a guy in the first quarter. So yeah, backing it up. I like the having the Black Power Ranger. That's did the Black Power Ranger have a different skill set than the other ones?
I don't know. I'm not well versed in Power Ranger.
Yeah, it's before your time.
Lore.
I'm more of a Pink Power Ranger kind of guy. I had a big crush on her growing up, Chris.
What did she look like? How the fuck do you know?
Ooh, look it up. She's a cutie pie.
They took the masks off?
Oh yeah.
Okay. Well, Beau, I know you got to go to class here.
Well, I got a little bit of time. I actually got to present my HR effective staffing class today. I'm really nervous. You know,
the Pink Power Ranger. Yeah, she was cute. Amy Jo Johnson. She was really cute.
Amy Jo. Yeah. But I'm giving my Drip King of the Week to Myles Garrett. Seeing him roll, that was legitimately scary. Seeing him roll in there as Vecna and then play the game that he played and ball out on Monday Night Football on Halloween. That's pretty cool. And it was fun too to see, just watching that game. They'd pan to the audience and see everyone dressed up, and I thought that was kind of fun. You know.
Hey, Beau, you'll be happy to hear the Pink Power Ranger hasn't really aged much.
Oh, I know, Chris.
Okay.
I know. Maybe she can come. Maybe she can come to Vegas with me.
No, she's not coming to Vegas. Oh, we need to read those real quick, don't we? So Beau, if you'll remember, we solicited, because Beau's going to be a fifth wheel in Vegas, like his own doing, but he's going to be a fifth wheel in Vegas. We're going on a couples trip. Me, my lovely wife, Sam Bradford, his lovely wife, as we often do, and Beau wanted to go too, and we'll be there for little work, little play. We solicited the listeners for DMs, kind of pitching why you would be a good date for Beau in Vegas.
Yeah, I got a surprising amount of DMs. I was kind of pleased with that. So,
well, here's Cole's DM. Hey, so my guy Beau, fuck going with a chick. You need a boy who's willing to party his ass off with you. Live and die together in Vegas. You take shots, I take shots. You snort coke off a hooker's ass, I snort coke off a hooker's ass. You get in a fight with the tattooed midget gang, well, fuck, so do I. We ride the mists of Avalon together, and as we rise from the ashes, we will bathe in glory as we dance upon the two couples who once might have called us fifth wheels. We are kings. Let's do this, Beau. Be my Mel Gibson. Be my Gerard Butler. In 300, be my Russell Crowe.
Very convincing.
What was your reaction? Immediate reaction. Did you give a like? Did you respond?
I didn't, but I might now. I was kind of flattered, honestly. I liked that. I thought my guy's a pretty good writer. Shout out to Cole Erickson. You might be, top of the leaderboard right now, my man.
No, we're not. Cole's not coming. I'm sorry, Cole.
I just want to edit that clip so we just have Reed saying, I blow coke off a hooker's ass.
Yeah, we should just use that as a sounder.
Yeah.
When Reed's dragging ass in the morning.
I mean, I want to Reed. You could be my Cole Erickson, man. Come on.
I could. Let's party.
Yeah, let's go, baby. Me and Reed.
Okay, Beau. I think it's time for you to go to class. What class is it?
HR effective staffing.
What are you gonna do with that?
I gotta do. Oh well, I'm the HR manager at the Greenlight Podcast. Chris, didn't you hear?
That's true. That's true.
You got any complaints or workplace, grudges or anything that we need to
No,
discuss?
not at all.
Just step right into my office, brother. I'm happy
Not
to
at
hear
all.
and come
You
to
would-
a conflict-free resolution because my time in the NFL has really prepared me to be an effective HR manager.
You would be a great HR guy. Oh, you know what we should do next pod? We should pitch you a couple HR complaints to see how you would respond.
Ooh,
To
I
see
like
if you're
that.
really any good at this. Okay.
I like that.
But first, you got to pass your exam.
I also one other Miller Lite mention that I'd like to give out. Man Dog of the Week. We got time for that?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We got time.
Let me pull that up here real quick. I didn't memorize these stats. My boy Justin Matabuke, who's kind of at 92, he's defensive end for the Baltimore Ravens. We talked about the Ravens a little bit earlier in their defense, getting Roquan Smith and hopefully getting a little bit healthy here down the stretch. But I thought he played a really, really good game on Thursday night against the Bucs. He had 3 total tackles. He had a sack, TFL, 2 quarterback hits, but also just played really, really hard and was really good. And I think he's having a really, really good season. I think he's in his second, maybe third year.
Yeah.
But he's been a player I've been watching ever since he had a really good game earlier this season against the Jets, and he's been fun to watch. So shout out to him, Man Dog of the Week.
Man Dog Matabuke.
Man Dog Matabuke. I've been giving that out to defensive linemen that have been playing really well. So happy to see him ball and looking forward to continue to watching him play down the stretch.
Franklin Myers could be a Man Dog of the Week if not for the fact that he effectively erased the only huge Mac Jones mistake Sunday.
Yep. Really
Okay.
well, too.
Well, Beau, good luck today, and we'll catch you next week.
Thanks a lot, Christopher. Happy Tuesday, brother. Hope we cheered you up a little bit.
Yeah, definitely. I'm going to go do a pod with Kyle now. Listen to the full podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and other podcast streaming platforms. Wherever you want to get the podcast, you can get the podcast. Pretty simple. New episodes every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more content. Podcasts get pretty wild. This is real tame.